Good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, April 15th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you here on a Monday morning as we get the week started right. You there, we're here, and thanks for tuning in. We are on the air for Absolute Kubota. We are each Monday at this time. We've had Matt Bryson out for the last 3 weeks, but this morning Clint Kelly comes to talk to us. Clint, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you. Clint is the man who runs the service department at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main here in Lebanon, and he and I were talking earlier about really how important service is after the sale. And so that means there's quite a bit of weight on your shoulders to get the job done right?
That's right. We want to protect your investment and make sure it's running as best as it can. The last thing we want is for someone to go out to get ready to mow their yard. They haven't touched their mower in a week or two, or heaven forbid they haven't mowed yet this season. They go out and just click. It doesn't start, so we want to get everything taken care of for everybody.
But you get all kinds of requests for service. People come in to have things taken care of, either maintenance or where you're servicing what has gone wrong. And I guess over the years you've learned pretty much to diagnose in a hurry.
We try not. We definitely diagnose as timely as we can. There's some things that seem to be a little more in depth, and we're pretty good at finding some gremlins in the systems. But I think this is the best team we've ever had when it comes to the service department. We've got 5 full-time technicians now. So not only can we get stuff diagnosed fairly quickly, we can get it back, I'd say, far quicker than other shops in the area.
What's a typical week like? You do all kind. I mean, you would be changing oil, you'd be sharpening blades, I suppose. What's some of the things you do on a daily basis?
So we're doing just about anything you'd imagine maintenance and repair-wise on any given day. We've got our master technician that he diagnoses anything that comes in that a customer says has a problem. They give us a symptom of whatever's going on. We'll find out what's causing that symptom. And then we have our other technicians there doing the repairs that he's found a diagnosis for.
So maintenance and repair both come under the heading of service, and,
yes, sir.
And you do that. So and staying pretty busy.
Yeah, and we're also we've now that we have another technician, we're also starting to do service on other equipment. So we've had people call with mowers of all different colors that we don't necessarily sell, but if it's just service, we're open to working on anything. If it's got a Kawasaki or Kohler or Briggs engine, mower-wise, we'll definitely take care of it.
Well, now you're not in sales yourself, but you are sales support, let's say.
Sir.
And the better the service department, probably the more sales are going to be made.
I would imagine so, yeah. We were just talking a little while ago. There's a lot of stuff that was purchased in the area that we couldn't get during COVID, and we're happy to work on it. So just give us a shout. And the one thing that I'd say as well, we've also expanded our rental department, so that's the other hat I get to wear now. And we've got quite a few things to rent, both mowers, but then we also have a small tractor, some mini excavators, some skid steers, and a few other support machines. So if anybody is interested in doing a weekend project, give us a shout. Our website has a list of all the equipment that we rent, and you can call me and I'll give you a rate and let you know what's available.
Are you kind of in charge of the renting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. We keep it through the service department just because every time it comes in, we make sure everything's good to go, and then we'll send it right back out.
I got it. Well, and there are times, there definitely are times when you may not have the piece of equipment you need, but you don't use that piece of equipment that often, and renting just makes sense.
Yeah, and there's still a few machines that it's a little bit of a wait time, like depending on the skid steer that people might get. So we've got a couple that we can rent out so you can get used to using it, see what it's like. Or again, we've got so many people with property in the area that they are trying to clean stuff up. So again, we've got some mini excavators and some skid steers to move gravel, move dirt, move some brush, and get you squared away.
Well, we try to mention your website from time to time, and that's absolutekubota.com. A lot of information, of course, is there, and you can reach them by phone at 615-449-6171. But you owe it to yourself, especially if you are thinking of investing in any kind of equipment, such as tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs, even those recreational terrain vehicles. They're nice. You've got a pretty good supply, I think.
We do. It's the most we've ever had since I've been there in 2.5 years.
And you do maintenance on those as
yes,
well.
Sir.
They have to have an oil change, or I guess they do. They have to have maintenance anyway.
They do. I definitely protect it, just like you take your car every so many miles. We can let you know however many hours you need to go until your next oil change.
Well, Clint Kelly in the service department has been with us this morning, and if you need Clint, well, he's available. And, of course, at Absolute Kubota, they're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and now Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. And, again, 1506 West Main, and if you look over there, if like I was last night on West Main, I couldn't believe all the equipment you got there. You got a good stock of inventory.
We do. Just come on by.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Clint Kelly, Service Department, Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. We are 10 after the hour, and State Representative Clark Boyd joins us for his, let's see, if you come every other week, is that it's not semi-weekly. What would you call it? Bi-weekly, I guess.
I think
anyway, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's nice to have you with us today. It's always nice to have you, and it seems like, especially this year, you've just been telling us more maybe than you did before. Maybe you know more to tell. I don't know.
I'm getting smarter, Coleman.
You are really involved in the legislature, though.
Well, I got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I think the longer you serve, you kind of zero in on certain things that become your specialty, and I've just got more and more things now that I'm more knowledgeable about, and then I sometimes back up and give y'all just a bigger picture view. There's a lot of bills that I will get talking points on, but I really don't know that much about because, I always do the math for people. It's easy. There's 99 of us. We get 15 bills apiece. That's 1,485 bills. And it's funny because sometimes people will say, hey, Clark, what about House Bill 1211 or something? And I'm like, ma'am, I have no idea. There's 1,485 bills. I don't memorize the number. If you'll tell me who the sponsor is or what the bill does, it will maybe ring a bell with me. Yeah. Maybe I've heard about it. But there's a lot of stuff going through this year. We are in our final 2 weeks. They pretty much have committed at this point to having us out by next Thursday. I think this week we'll go all the way through Friday. And to my knowledge, the only committee that's open is finance. So all the bills that have passed but have gone behind the budget, meaning they're waiting to see if we can fit them into the budget, are now coming out. We'll vote on those in finance committee. But we've got a lot of work on the floor. The Senate has, I think Mark Pody told me over the weekend, they've heard every bill and they're finished. I mean, they don't even have to come in this week. They're waiting on us. But we've got some of those members that kind of fancy themselves as the Tennessee Three. There's really two of them, the ones that we put out last year but came back the next week. They will talk every bill their maximum amount of time, and so they speak almost 5 minutes on almost every single bill. And so if there's 25 bills, that's 125 minutes every time we're on the floor from just one member. And so. And some people, say, well, that's good. I'm glad y'all talk about it. No, I mean, sometimes ad nauseum, just talking just to have yourself heard, people get so annoyed with it that we actually, when they finally stop talking, we rush to vote on it, where I wish there was more back and forth. And but it takes a lot of time when you have to allow 5 minutes on every one. And so
would that be one reason you're as far behind?
No, it absolutely is. There's no doubt about it. Where that was something that we put into place when they came in, and we realized that they were just going to talk and talk and talk. A 5-minute limit was put on there, and I think it actually works against us, because now a lot of the freshmen, when they talk, they think they're supposed to talk for 5 minutes instead of just standing up, making their point for a minute, and then letting the other side give a rebuttal and going back and forth. It just turns into just a plethora of 5-minute speeches.
Do you think there might be some more changes the next time?
I don't know. I don't know. I would like to. I don't want to stifle debate because I do love the robust debate that we have on the House floor. But it's just the last 2 years. It's been very different because somebody went back over the summer and counted because someone had said, well, you're not letting those guys, those two members that you're picking on them. They don't get a chance to talk. And somebody said they don't get a chance to talk. Are you kidding me? And they went and did the math. And I mean, the next 20 people stacked up don't talk as much as them. I mean, it's unreal how much they talk. And so, no, I mean, we'll just keep going with it. There may be some changes. I don't know.
Okay. Why don't we've got, we're going to do something a little different this
Yes,
morning.
I have a colleague that I think MJ is going to get on the line. It's Representative Ryan Williams from Cookeville, Tennessee. He chairs the Appropriations Subcommittee, a very intelligent legislator. He has drafted the legislation that people are calling the teacher carry bill that would allow a teacher to carry a gun. There's a lot of misinformation about this, and I can speak to a little bit about it, but no one could tell it better than Ryan Williams. So he's going to be on after the break, I think.
And that's great. He's waiting for a phone call. And we're waiting to go to a break. So we'll take a break right here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. Premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department. Schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Accident with injury still tying up the 1300 block at Dickerson Pike over in East Nashville. The fire department remains on the scene. Wrapping up a couple of earlier wrecks. Traffic still looks good right now. Coming down 65 through the Madison area now. It's crowded on Vietnam Vets westbound, especially in Hendersonville as you come past Conference Drive. It's heavy also on 24 west up through the Antioch area coming in from Murfreesboro. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken now has new items on that new menu like Mediterranean salads and so much more. Check it out at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane & Crowell. At the offices of Kane & Crowell, we understand the complexities that come with family law matters. Whether you're going through a divorce, working through child custody or support matters, or needing a will or trust drafted to protect your family assets for future generations. Kane & Crowell, 615-784-4800. Your local leaders in family law matters.
All right, we continue here on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us. Representative Clark Boyd is here. His Monday to be with us. Now, we got something special this morning.
Yes, thank you, Coleman. And so we have State Representative Ryan Williams, as I mentioned before the break. He is he's a representative that represents the Cookeville area. He chairs the Appropriations Committee, and he is the architect and the House sponsor of the bill that people are referencing now that would allow, under some circumstances, teachers to carry a gun. And there's been a lot of misinformation about this bill, and I thought it would be good to share some of my time with Ryan this morning and let him just sort of explain and what the bill does. So Representative Williams, you're on the air. Welcome.
Thank you. Very appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to be on with you this morning, Chairman Boyd. It's House Bill 1202 has been through lots of iterations. It was on the House floor last year. We laid it on the desk because the Senate was not acting on the bill. And so what we did is the Senate has already passed the version. To give a kind of a synopsis of what happens, the bill would allow for faculty and staff in some circumstances of LEAs to be able to allow that faculty or staff member to carry a concealed firearm with a very high bar of certain circumstances, all of which would need to be met. For instance, those circumstances would require whoever chose to do that to have an enhanced carry permit. They would also have to have a mental health background check, which is a really high bar that the law enforcement community has to do anytime they choose to serve. It also would say that a portion that they would have to have 40 hours of training, but a portion of that active shooter training would have to be hands-on so that the law enforcement agency with a memo of understanding would be able to know for certain whether that person was capable of doing that. And then if the person did that, then the last say as to whether or not it would happen or not would be the law enforcement agent in charge of the schools there in the community. There has been a lot of misinformation about the bill. The principal, the director of schools in each case would be notified that there would be someone do that. So that's what, and they have the ability to say no, which is what makes it permissive. And so the original tenets of the bill came out of the Parkland shooting committee in Florida, of which they defined what they would call a peace officer. And so that as the basis of this bill, as well as campus carry, which is what we have on higher education campuses across the state. What we found when we passed that bill in 2016, what we found is that only about 3% of institutions of higher learning do those faculty and staff members carry. Based upon the much higher standard and high bar here, we don't expect that many people will be able to qualify. To give you an example, there were 5 teachers who wanted to be sworn in as reserve deputies in an adjacent county to mine, and those 5 teachers, only one of the 5 was able to pass the mental health background check to be a reserve deputy. And so the thought is the bar is really high. Not many people will be able to do it, but it would allow people in rural communities where they don't have SROs, even though we funded those throughout the state, that they would be able to have this. But the most important component of the bill, it would allow us to remove this idea of schools being gun-free zones so that we could put a sign out front that says that someone in this school other than the SRO may be, by permission, carrying a concealed weapon, therefore making schools giving a huge deterrent to schools across the state. And the deterrent is the most valuable component of this bill.
Let me ask this. There seems to be quite a lot of opposition, and I even think it's been played up some in the news media. I sometimes think the news media even opposes this. Why the opposition there? Do you understand that?
I will be honest with you. I do understand people's concerns, and I have taken those concerns into consideration because the bill as it sits now is dramatically different than the one that I started with 3 years ago. I think the problem is that people haven't taken the time to sit down and read what the bill actually says, and they have a preconceived notion of what they think it might do. And I think when I talk to educators, retired or current educators, there's this view that just anybody's going to be able to carry a gun. But based upon those 5 components that I gave you, that's simply not going to be the case. I think there'll be less than 0.5% doing it. And I do think it plays for good media coverage if you can, create a storm around this idea. But ultimately, my kids are public school kids. When they were in school, now they're old. But we had the opportunity. It's about creating a deterrent because, as we know, most active shooters, particularly in gun-free zones like schools, that person is going to seek out the SRO first because then there is no threat. But this just allows the idea that someone else may be there. If a school system doesn't want to do it, they can choose not to do it. But as a legislator and a father, I want to be able to say we've done everything we could possibly do to make schools safe. And I think this is one of those things that we could do. And if they choose not to do it, that's between the LEA and those parents and students where this may or may not happen.
All right, Representative Boyd, any comments you want to make?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the opposition to this, you've heard the expression, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. I think a lot of people will look at the original version of a bill, and I don't think they understand how the amendment process works and how a bill can evolve. But this bill is so permissive and the bar is so high that I can't think of any reason that someone would be opposed to it. The opposition that I have heard anecdotally when someone will walk up to me is they will say, well, my wife was a teacher and she doesn't want to carry a gun. She doesn't know how to use a gun. And you say, well, she wouldn't have to carry one. And this is optional for someone to do this. And then they say, well, even if she carried a gun and wanted to, she doesn't know how to shoot it that well. And you say, no, you don't understand. I mean, these folks, after 40 hours of training, and then a psychological evaluation, not to mention that you have to coordinate with the local law enforcement agency. And then if the superintendent doesn't want you to do it, then your school system won't be involved at all. When you put all those things together, it just kind of makes sense. And to reiterate what Representative Williams said, in our state, we have really made a commitment to making sure that we have school resource officers in every school in this state, and we put a lot of money into that. And what we have found is that in some rural areas, they still don't have it. And so we passed a bill this year that would allow retired law enforcement officers to keep their pension to come back if they would fill a vacant position as a school resource officer. But imagine a school district that's in a county that they have 5 deputies and there's 6 schools. I mean, you can't have a school resource officer program in that county. But if the principal, the vice principal, or a chemistry teacher used to be a military police officer in the Marine Corps or something, that's the type of guy that you probably want to have a gun. And if he wants to step forward and say, I want to protect these kids, and he may be the only person that would be armed at that school, I'm supportive of that, and I'm glad that Representative Williams is carrying this bill. It's very thought out. He's thought of everything, and so, like I said, I think for a lot of people, this makes a good story, and it's something to rail against. But if you really read the language in the bill and understand the intent of what we're trying to do here, I don't know why anybody would be against it.
Right. Well, Representative Williams and Representative Porty, let me ask this. I just wonder what law enforcement, our sheriffs, our law enforcement people, have any of them come out against this that you know of and vehemently against it, or a lot of them for it, or are they just kind of waiting and seeing?
That's a really good question, Chairman Boyd. I'll take that. When I originally started with the bill, they had a vast number of concerns, particularly because they were going to be responsible for something they didn't know based upon the ability of what someone's abilities may or may not be. But I've worked with the Sheriff's Association, with TBI, with Police Chiefs Association, and other stakeholders to make sure that they were comfortable with what was going out there. And most of the mandatory language that I'm discussing was because we had worked with them to try to create this high bar, one that made them more comfortable but still achieved the goal of creating a deterrent. And so in the beginning, they were not very favorable, but now they're what they would normally tell in politics, they are neutral and so not coming out and testifying against it in committee like they originally were, because of a lot of the changes that we've made to the bill to make sure that our community's safer, that the bar is extremely high for someone to do this.
Okay, I've got one other question here. I think it's already passed the Senate. So what's going to happen in the House? Your prediction? Either one of you, both of you. Go ahead, Representative.
Today we're going to adopt what's called the flow motion. The flow motion allows us to be able to move committee from committee to committee, be able to take up bills without laying over 24 or 48 hours, and so we'll be able to pick them up. Sometime in the next week, I'll make a motion to lift the bill from the desk so that it could be heard by the committee. I'm sure there will be a long and boisterous debate. There are already amendments on that have been filed by those in opposition, so we'll have a lot of amendments to deal with in an effort to try to kill the bill. But I hope in the next week to 10 days that the body will take it up and we'll have an up-down vote on it.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invite. Thank you, Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Ryan.
And Representative Clark Boyd and I have a couple of minutes left to finish here, and I don't know what else you want to talk about.
I would just on this particular bill. This I've never even heard this bill before. I mean, I knew about it, but it's not gone through any of my committees. And I remember last year when he laid it on the desk, and then it came back this year. But I think what it seeks to do is some of these rural counties where they're asking for it. They have superintendents that are saying, we have to get a security guard, an officer, or somebody in these schools where it takes 20 minutes of meandering through the mountains to get there. We have to get someone there, and we've got a guy that works there that used to be a Navy SEAL or something, and we think he might be a good guy to carry a gun. And so this creates a pathway for them, similar to how we're allowing retired law enforcement to come back. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that Wilson County probably won't do this. I don't know that for sure, but my guess is I don't think that in our county there's really a need for this. Right. It is permissive, but I think in some of the rural areas in Tennessee where they're asking for this, I think it's a tool that they can use to help secure the schools. And I don't see a problem with it. The only opposition that I have heard from it, when people reach out, I don't think they understand it. Like, their opposite, if it did what they thought it did, I'd probably be against it, But based on what I know about the bill, I think it's a pretty good idea.
Well, believe it or not, we've come to the end of our time here. We'll see you in 2 weeks, I guess, but have fun in wrapping things up.
Yeah. Thank you, Coleman. Good seeing you today.
Trying to be funny here. We appreciate it so much. Thanks for being with us. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. And it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. Premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment at 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We have seen a couple of wrecks out here the last few minutes. Here's what we're seeing. Heavy traffic flow now over in the Hermitage area as that traffic builds coming in from Wilson County there into Hermitage on 40 west up by Central Pike. It's loading up pretty good, 24 westbound. Leaving Murfreesboro, Rutherford County up through Antioch. I see that heavy traffic flow coming past Bell Road. It's also heavy on Vietnam Vets right now in Hendersonville. Westbound Vietnam Vets headed towards Conference Drive. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Middle Tennessee. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at myLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
Bring on long days, sweltering heat, and acres that just won't end. Exmark mowers were born to deliver legendary reliability, signature cut quality, and stubborn durability that refuses to give in. Because like you, Exmark mowers were built for this. Visit your local dealer or explore an Exmark online for special finance offers available now.
Exmark, done right. Made for this. Absolute Kubota, 1504 West Main, Lebanon.
Mostly sunny skies for your Monday, warming up to a high of around 84. Overnight, mostly cloudy, low down to 61. More clouds building in Tuesday, breezy and 82. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to part two of Coleman and Company. It's a magnificent Monday. We're glad to have you with us, and we're now glad to have Gail Hallam here to talk about the Farm Bureau Expo Center. Good morning.
Good morning.
Pretty nice out there this morning.
It is. Just about the right temperature.
Yeah. Well, we haven't mentioned this yet. So busy with all the things with Representative Clark Boyd. But today is tax day, of course, April 15th.
It is.
Especially if you owe money, you better get that tax return in today.
Yeah, if you haven't done anything yet, you probably should get busy.
Mine is already stamped and waiting at the house to put it in the mailbox when I get home. So.
Well, I beat you because I finalized mine on Friday.
Yeah. And another thing about April 15th, a lot of times we say maybe frost is over. It's actually we'll probably have a little more frost, but the worst of frost probably over, so that's good. We can start thinking planting, spring planting and all that now.
That is so true. And this weekend we had slammed enough at the expo, which is all cars. And it's all kinds of cars. And they had phenomenal weather for their show. So they were pretty excited about that.
But think about it, you can't do a lot about the weather.
I cannot.
When you do have good weather, though, you can't brag about it.
I can brag about it when it's good. That's right. I know that the RV show is in January, and there's, I don't know, something about their weekend that they're there that I know at least 3 times they have had snow.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little more challenging trying to get RVs in and out of the expo.
Yeah. Well, what's going on now? Every week's a big week anymore, seems like.
It feels like it, yeah. So we're going to roll into this weekend with Talent on Parade. It's a very large dance competition, and they're very excited to be here. This is going to be their first year with us, and they're one of those shows that takes up at least 4 days, if not 5. So this year, I think it's only going to be 4, and they're very excited to have that, and have been working diligently to get their run of show together so that we know what to expect, so we know how to support them, and that's one of the keys that to a successful event at the expo is that communication and telling us what it is your plan is so that we know how to anticipate how to support you.
Well, you just keep getting bigger and better, it seems. That's the goal, obviously,
Right.
to be better known, to have more people wanting to come here, but seems like your goal, you're achieving that very well.
I think we are. I mean, I'm really proud of the work that the team does, and we work really hard to make sure that our event planners, are successful in what they're trying to do, and really that planning process on the front end is so critical. And the more information that we can have, the better we are at what we do. And sometimes that can be challenging in communicating that to event planners, especially if you get somebody that is new, or maybe they've been tasked with a job, but they've never done it before. Mm-hmm. I often say there's 2 kinds of planners that we deal with sometimes. Is there's those that have done it before and we just need to work with them and get on the same page. And then there's those that got the job and aren't really sure what they need to do, but in general, they're very coachable in terms of what they need to do.
Yeah. Well, things rest of the year looking good. I mean,
oh yeah,
got a few vacancies maybe, but not many.
During the week, yes.
Yeah.
The main exhibit hall is what stays booked, and what's interesting though is that just from my history in working with events, we have the opportunity to see events will grow, and then if you have a leadership change or somebody just simply doesn't want to move forward with that anymore, or maybe financially it's not sustaining itself the way it normally is, then you see events kind of die off and then new events come in. Yeah. And trust me, I probably have 6 to 10 new events looking for those weekends when somebody's decided not to move forward.
So which really means, I think, the word is getting out more and more.
That is correct.
I wonder 2 or 3 years down the road, would you be booked up 75-80% of the time?
Well, we're going to have to look at that for a couple reasons. It is working. That relationship building effort is working, and I'm obviously intentionally being very methodic about how I do that so that it reaches certain areas. But we're going to be 8 years old this year. So now we're going to be looking at maintenance and upkeep, because we're going to have to figure out how to do all of that in the midst of everything else. So that's going to be interesting. For example, our beautiful painted cement floor, that's going to need to be refinished. And I don't think that's going to get done in a Tuesday or a Monday through Wednesday format.
So those are things that have to be looked at, worked on, worked out. That it goes with the territory, so to speak.
So there's that, and painting and AV sound equipment upgrades, and so there's a lot of that. So we're going to be looking at that going forward, and we have to do that now because by the time that it's critical, I have to not have it booked.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, I guess we've about come to the end of our time here. Nice to see you this morning. I don't think I'd really introduced you. Gail Hellum, of course, Director of Marketing and Events. That's a nice title, and
it's a long one.
We appreciate you coming to be with us each Monday, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Right,
have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Gail Hellum, Farm Bureau Expo Center, and we're 21 before the hour. I was looking for Mayor Hutto, but I have somebody here this morning who is a whole lot better looking.
Well, thank you, Coleman.
Sarah Davenport, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's you're here, and Mayor Hutto is not.
Mayor Hutto is not here. He does apologize. He's feeling under the weather this morning.
You could know that he's either on a special assignment, a special assignment, or under the weather.
Yes.
Otherwise, he'd be here.
Yes, he always tries to be here. Hates it when he can't make it, but he called me last night and he said, "I'm afraid I don't have it today."
It is nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
One of the things we can say about Sarah Davenport, a very dedicated employee. Were you the first that he put in as an assistant?
No, he had Rachel Warren before I was there.
That's right. Rachel, okay.
Yes.
But,
That's big shoes to fill.
She was a holdover from Bob Dedman. But once she decided to hang it up, you came along.
Yes.
And then you decided to leave for a few days.
For a hot minute, yeah.
But you found out where your place was very quickly and came back. Was that a couple of years ago?
It was a couple of years ago. Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, good to have you. If you're like Mayor Hutto, you've got enough to fill up 30 minutes. We've just got 20. But what's going on?
Oh, well, I will try to fill in for him as best as I can, but he does apologize that he is a little under the weather today. Of course, there's been a lot going on since the last time that he was here, so I'll try to hit some of the highlights. This is certainly not everything that he's done over the past month, but just a few of the things. So he did get to speak to the Leadership Middle Tennessee group. The same day, he was also able to welcome the Bridgetown Natural Foods to Wilson County, and this is their second facility outside of their West Coast headquarters that's here now, so we're excited to have them. He attended the Covenant School Remembrance Program in Mount Juliet last month, and I believe there was also an event for that held here in Lebanon. And he said that was a very, very nice event, and we sure appreciate the folks that organized that and put that together. Gave the State of the County address at the Wilson Bank and Trust Operations Center. Had a great turnout for that. Took a little different approach to it this year. Instead of him just getting up there and talking the whole time, we played Jeopardy!
Oh.
And I'd like to give hats off to Brooke Driver. She put the entire presentation together and worked very, very hard on that, and it was fantastic. We even had Hutto bucks that we gave out. The one and only time we've seen Randall Hutto give out money. But it was great. It went over really well, and 615 Outdoor Living actually sponsored the prize for us, 2 very nice outdoor chairs, and Mr. Greg Butler was the winner of those. So it was a good event. Really enjoyed being able to be a part of that with him this time.
Well, speaking of his squeezing the money or whatever, I often wonder who is the tightest, he or Jim Major.
Could be a close call.
We got to know with those two guys in the courthouse and how conservative, let's say, quote unquote, they are with their money, and if they spend the county's money like they spend theirs,
things are going well.
Right.
Things are going well. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. He also spoke at Ag Hall of Fame this past month, and want to again say congratulations to the newest inductees, the families of the late Mr. Don Simpson and the late Mr. Nelson Steed, and also Mr. Johnny Ricketts and Mr. Bill and the late Miss Cheryl Ligon. So.
Right. That's a really nice event, and Mayor Hutto, well, I think the county mayor pretty much is invited to have a little bit to do with that, and he speaks each time. Mm-hmm. It was a nice event. It's always good to have him there.
Yes, and the weather cooperated, so that was great too. had an opportunity to speak to Leadership Wilson this past month. And also there was a ribbon cutting for WEMA Station 3 out on Clemens Road last week. And we're actually going to have another one of those coming up next week for Station 10 out on Central Pike. So we've had several big things going on.
Station 10 is where?
On Central Pike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. And if I could switch gears for just a minute, I wanted to talk about the We Go Star. It's that time of year again where we are getting ready for the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be on Saturday, April the 27th. And we are very excited to again be partnering with RTA to provide rides both to and from the race. RJ Coleman Railroad is going to sponsor that event again this year so that you can enjoy a worry-free, hassle-free, and a safe ride to this year's marathon. At the same time, you're going to be helping some great kids in the process because RJ Coleman Railroad is going to take the ticket sales, and then they're going to donate that back to St. Jude, just as they've done for the past few years. So very excited to have them, quote unquote, on board again.
Right.
Tickets for this particular train event can only be purchased online, and you have to do that 24 hours up until the race. So you've got until Friday the 26th to make those purchases. And you can get those at ticketsnashville.com. If you'll click on the transportation tab, it'll come up just as soon as you click on that. It is important that you do get those tickets online because you cannot use a weekday or a monthly pass. So if you're someone who rides the train regularly, just know that you do have to purchase a special ticket for
this is a totally different purchase and way of doing, and I guess it's easier for them to keep up with how much their donation's going to be.
It is, yes, and it's also completely separate from the race itself. So if you do plan to run in the race, of course, you will need a different ticket and registration for that. Or if you're just going to the race as a spectator, or if you're just looking for a way to get downtown that day, this is a great option to do that.
Right, and train ride's a lot of fun.
It is. It is a lot of fun. I mean, it's a new experience for a lot of people. It's a great way for them to get acquainted with the train. It's a taxpayer-free event because we have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Money's going to St. Jude's. I mean, it's a win-win any way you slice it.
Okay. Are you ready to take a break?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Sarah Davenport is substituting for Mayor Hutto this morning. As she said earlier, he's a little under the weather, but she is taking over, and we'll find out about tonight's meeting, I'm sure, when we come back after this break here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford. That regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, $17.80 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're in the process of moving a couple of stalled vehicles, one north of town on 24 East there at OHB, slowing down that traffic flow just a bit with some rubbernecking coming in from the Jolton area. 24 westbound here at Hickory Hollow Parkway. They're trying to push this stalled vehicle that was out in the center lane of traffic out of the way because all that traffic's trying to get up through there now, up through the Antioch area coming in, especially from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, arriving here into Antioch. It's crowded now over in the Mount Juliet area as that traffic leaves Wilson County, headed up through Hermitage on 40 westbound at Central Pike. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken has a new menu with brand new items on there. Order online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Need a venue for your next corporate training, meeting, luncheon, or customer appreciation event? These are just a few of the event options that the Farm Bureau Expo Center can accommodate within its 79,000 square feet of adaptable event space. The Farm Bureau Expo Center offers unparalleled versatility for corporate events in Wilson County. Come on by and check us out. For booking details as well as upcoming events, visit farmbureauexpo.com or find us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Farm Bureau Expo.
Good morning and welcome to our final segment of Coleman & Company here on a Monday morning. This is April 15th, as we have talked about. It's tax day. Just a reminder, your contribution to Uncle Sam is due today. Depending, of course, you may have a refund coming. Most people that have refunds file earlier, though, I guess.
Yep.
Sarah Davenport's with us. She's substituting for Mayor Hutto this morning. So back to you.
Okay, thank you. I did want to mention a couple more things about the train event that we're doing for the Rock and Roll Marathon on the 27th. Again, purchase those tickets at ticketnashville.com. If you have any trouble with that website and getting your tickets, please call us and we can walk you through that. Matter of fact, I had a lady last week that emailed me and she said, I went to purchase my ticket, but I accidentally purchased it for the wrong station. What do I do? So we called MTA and they said, that's not a problem. She's got a ticket. We're going to let her on. So don't worry about that. But if you do run into any issues, just let us know and we'll get you through that.
That's part of why you're there.
Exactly. But,
well, you like to help people.
Yes.
I think all of you in the office do.
We do.
It's part of your job.
It is, but we enjoy it too.
Yeah.
So we really do. But you can also follow Mayor Hutto's social media pages for more information about the event itself and also a link to this ticket sales page. Again, you can call us. The cost for a ticket is $17 and that includes a $2 processing fee. So it's still cheaper than driving downtown and trying to find a place to park.
Right.
So and your money's going to something great.
Parking can get expensive.
Parking can get very expensive.
$15 plus $2, 17 total.
Yes.
Okay.
17 total. Yes. So ticketsnashville.com, and we're hoping to have a great turnout this year. We do have a county commission meeting tonight. Starts at 7 p.m. Prayer and pledge will be taken care of by Commissioner Diane Weathers. We'll have a historical moment from Commissioner Jerry McFarland. The commission is going to pass a resolution tonight recognizing Public Safety Telecommunications Week, and this is just going to be honoring our dispatchers, and we certainly appreciate everything that they do and the service that they provide. So I believe this may be the first time that we have done a resolution for them. I know typically we've done things for Police Week and EMS Week, but I think this is the first one for dispatchers. So
well, good.
Yeah, excited to do that. Just a short list of appointments tonight. Mr. Russell Neal, Mr. Bart Brown, and Mr. Jerry Dow will be reappointed to a 2-year term. Also, Mr. David Yost will be appointed as an alternate member on the Board of Equalization. 2 individuals will be presented and recommended as judicial commissioners for part-time positions. Of course, this is in addition to our regular notary list that we have. We do have several resolutions tonight. Most of those involve just moving monies around in various departments, typical finance cleanup things that we have to do. But they'll also approve a 10-year plan update for solid waste and also approve a resolution for county flood damage prevention, and that's going to be required by FEMA. In addition to just other business that we have to take care of, we do have public hearing tonight, and we actually have 3 requests that'll be going before that. We have a request for rezoning. We also have a request for an amendment to the land use plan, and there's also a request to do an amendment to the actual zoning ordinance. So, of course, we'll allow public comment for those as well. So should be just a typical meeting. Don't know that there'll be anything quote unquote exciting going on. It just sort of depends.
I'm wondering, do you usually attend the county commission meeting?
I used to, but now that we have access to view it online and view it on TV, I typically just stay home and watch it. That way I can be with my boys and still keep up with what's going on.
You usually watch it a little of it anyway to know what happened?
I do, yes. Yeah. I like to keep up with what's going on. That way if someone calls the next day and wants to know something, we're able to tell them, okay, here's what happened.
Well, that works great for you then.
Yes, it's wonderful.
To be aware, and you can be at home and be aware and not lose some family time.
Yeah, it's nice, and I can always send Mayor Hutto a text in the middle of it and be like, hey, make sure you mention this or make sure you do this. So yeah, it works out good.
The channel 198.
I believe that's right, and I knew you were going to ask me that, and I didn't have it in front of me.
I think that's right.
You can also go to our website as well, and there's a link to the page where you'll be able to get to it. So yeah, and you can watch it on Facebook Live also.
Yeah, and what's your website?
WilsonCountyTN.gov.
WilsonCountyTN.gov. If you can't think of 198, WilsonCountyTN.gov, and a link there. So yes. No excuse.
No excuse. Yes, sir.
What else you got for us?
I did want to mention, I know Mayor Hutto has mentioned this already, but our specialty license plates, they are in now, and they are available at the clerk's office. So if you ordered one and it is time for you to renew your tags, they have that available for you. Now, I know we've had several people to say, gosh, I don't remember if I ordered one or not. I mean, that's been in some cases almost 2 years ago. So, and we understand that it was a bit of a long process to get all of that done and taken care of. So if you can't remember if you ordered one or not, call our office. We have a list, and we can walk you through that and let you know if you ordered one or not. So those are available.
If you're like me and did do that, you got a letter reminding you.
Yes, you should have got a letter from the state. And we did have some folks call about that because they weren't sure why they got the letter because they didn't remember purchasing it. So yes.
You didn't get that letter if you didn't pay up front, did you?
Well, yes and no.
Okay. Well, you don't have to explain. If you
got a letter, you've got a plate.
What if you still want one of those and you didn't do anything in the beginning?
Call our office and talk with Miss Susan Shaw, and she can walk you through that process. I think you can still get one. I don't think that will be an issue.
She'll have all the answers.
Yes.
444
1383.
1383.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it's a nice license plate. It says Wilson County, the place to be, or something like that. It's colorful, and there's one on the back of my car. I'm kind of proud of that.
I'll get mine next month. So.
But it goes, the money, the extra money you pay for that goes for Wilson Rides, right?
Partly. It was going to a couple of different things, but there is a portion that goes to Wilson Rides. Part of it has to go to the highway department as it being part of the state program, and I believe there's also some money that goes to the Arts Council for Cumberland, but there is a portion that does go to Wilson Rides as well.
Well, if you ever look at your receipt where you get your license tag, you talk about being nickeled and dimed to death. There's probably at least a half a dozen different amounts that come into the total there. The clerk's got to get his. There's a fee for this and a fee for that. But anyway, bottom line is what, $50, $60, something like that, I guess, plus the $35, I believe, for the extra plate.
Yeah, but you've already got that taken care of. So you're just paying for the sticker.
But that's our way of plugging that a little bit, and you can help Wilson Rides. They get some of the proceeds from this, and that's a good thing. And I believe that's something that your office, Mayor Hutto's office, came up with, that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes, got it off the ground and running, and it's a great program. They do a great job. It's thriving. Of course, always looking for ways to help sustain it even further, but they do an outstanding job.
Well, if you didn't have some people who are making some donations, and if you didn't have some people who are volunteers who want to help others who need a ride, you couldn't do that. But
that's right.
People have stepped up to the plate in those ways and others to make it successful so far.
They really have. We have some great volunteers in all aspects.
When you mention that, you have to mention Mark Hinesley, because I think he gave the first ride.
I think he did. I think so.
Oh,
yes, I believe he did. Yes, he did, and did a great job.
We've got about 4 minutes now. Are we through with tonight? Is that mostly what you had?
That is mostly what I had. Yes, sir.
Well, I want to talk about you a little bit here.
Oh, no.
When did you start? You started shortly after Mayor Hutto became county mayor, didn't you?
His second term. I started in February of 2015.
Oh, so okay. Mm-hmm. So you've been there since then, but yes. You like it.
I love it.
What all do you? Are you are you his first deputy or whatever, first lady or whatever we'd say?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm one of two executive assistants.
Right.
Of course, we Brooke and I have the same title, but we have very different roles in what we do. I take care of his calendar and filling in for different events and things and a host of other things, whereas Brooke handles mainly PR and social media and things of that. But I think the thing I love about it the most is it's something different every day. You have no idea what's going to happen in a day's time, who's going to be on the other end of the phone, or who's going to come in needing something, and it's great. I just like being there to help people. So,
well, I think about Mayor Hutto sometimes. He has been successful really in at least 3 areas, and I would say he was successful even before he got into the public arena, even as a businessman or whatever. He is from Watertown and all this, but then he He took, I think, 3 different teams to the state tournament basketball.
I believe that's right.
Great. One of these days, if he's not already, he needs to be in the Lebanon High Hall of Fame and Sports Hall of Fame. And then, of course, he worked in the special school district as the second in command there, I believe, for a while.
He did.
And then decided to run for county mayor. And I think he's done an outstanding job in all those areas. And you and Brooke and those that work with him every day probably know him as well as anybody. You know he is a hard worker. He works many hours to get
all the
things
time.
done. He takes his job very seriously.
He takes it very seriously. He's probably one of the hardest working people I've ever met. I mean, he is constantly doing something. I can promise you he's even at home right now not feeling well, but he's still working on something for the county.
Y'all talk a lot about growth. Of course, we're dealing with it everywhere, and that subject's got to come up, and even when you're in our office conversation, I would think a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You probably do. What are we going to do about it?
Well, I'm fortunate I don't have to make that decision, but I get to hear a lot of the conversation. But I mean, we're growing by leaps and bounds. But I feel like we are dealing with it too as it comes. I mean, of course, there's always areas that you can improve, but I think that's with anything. So, of course, we put in 2 new WEMA stations, so I think that's just another sign of the times and with growth. So, we deal with it as it comes.
Well, your family, we got 30 seconds. You're married, have some children. How many?
Mary got a set of twin boys, just turned 10, and they start TCAPs today. So good luck, Owen and Colin, and good luck to all our teachers and students that are starting TCAPs today. I know it's a stressful time for everyone.
Well, thanks for listening. Our time is up. Sarah Davenport, we appreciate you being with us. It's always good to see you. And thanks for the good job you do helping Mayor Hutto and taking care of things for Wilson County.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's going to do it for a Monday. Until tomorrow, I wish you a magnificent day.